Hello everyone, my name is Silent Snake 76, but you can call me Snake, and welcome to this tournament recap for the Hex Clash for 20 August 2017. For our top 8 after the Swiss portion, we have at number 1, Something Stupid, number 2, VB Player, number 3, Rampfin, number 4, Only Hope, number 5, Stone Viper, number 6, Jadim Jedi, number 7, PRG, and coming in at the number 8 spot, Funny Fat Guy. So let's take a look at our matches here in the top 8. Remember, players are trying to advance to the semifinals to be in the money round. Something Stupid versus Stone Viper, Only Hope versus Jadim Jedi, Funny Fat Guy versus Rampfin, and PRG versus VB Player. Our first match in the quarterfinals is going to be Stone Viper playing Torque Slamstick versus Something Stupid as Cassia Goldenlight. We see here in game number 1 of this matchup, Something Stupid here facing an onslaught in the air from Stone Viper. Fire with Fire going to copy that Templar of Lumos. Activation of Champion Power is going to give Gladiator. Here comes the swing. 14 damage inbound. This is going to take Something Stupid down to 5 health and needs to find something off the top to try to stop this onslaught. Doesn't find it, and Stone Viper will take game number 1. In game number 2, Something Stupid has Stone Viper up on the ropes. We see a full swing, alpha inbound, blocks are assigned, but that is going to take Stone Viper down to 4 health. We see a Hermit here for Something Stupid and a draw for Stone Viper. Is it enough to help him? It is not. So Something Stupid will force a game number 3. In game number 3, everything went Something Stupid's way. We see the example of how powerful Candlekin can be here. Alpha swing going to be more than enough damage to take Stone Viper out here. Damage will be assessed, and Something Stupid will take down Stone Viper 2-1 in this matchup. After the victory, Something Stupid will advance to the semifinals round. Now in the money, let's take a look at our next match here in the quarterfinals. Only Hope as Torque Slamstick versus Jadim Jedi as Puff the Rainbow. In game number 1 of this matchup, we catch the action. JJ with a 10-point health lead, but that's going to be quickly dwindled here as we see Slash and Dash being created. Activation of Champion Power is going to give Gladiator to all his troops, and Pack Frenzy socketed with double damage. So double damage troops here. Now a swing. Alpha inbound. We have 2 Swift Strikers. Damage is going to be assessed and blocks assigned, but that's going to do it. Only Hope's going to take game number 1 against Jadim Jedi. In game number 2, we see Jadim Jedi with an aerial assault here ready to go. Sapphire Shard will come down. Party Fungi. Remember, when a troop transforms with Party Fungi, it gets +3/+3. So Merry Butterfly is now created. We see a swing here. This is for 11. No blocks, and Pilot Nut's going to do it. JJ will force a game number 3. Going into this game 3 matchup, JJ versus Only Hope. Only Hope with an army of 1/1 Candlekins. Rune Fusion going to create a Nature's Resolve. Activation of Champion Power is going to give Gladiator 1 to all the troops on the field for Only Hope. Attack phase. Alpha swing. Everything coming in. JJ can survive with these blocks. And we're going to see Only Hope trying to push some additional damage with Go Nuts on one of those Candlekin. JJ, though, is going to respond in kind with Hide and Seek, taking away one of those threats. Damage is going to be assigned. That's not going to be enough. And JJ will go up 2-1 over Only Hope. After his victory, JJ will move to the semis to face off against Something Stupid. Our next featured quarterfinal match is going to be Funny Fat Guy as Puff the Rainbow versus Rampfin as Papa Goot. In game 1 of this matchup, we see Rampfin sitting comfortably at 30 health. Funny Fat Guy at 7. Cole the Weak, though, going to remove that last threat, and that's going to do it. Rampfin will take game number 1. Funny Fat Guy not giving up here. Going to go ahead and play a resource. Activation of Champion Power. Going to go ahead and create that butterfly. We see the aerial assault from Funny Fat Guy. Going to hit Rampfin right in the face and force a game number 3. In this Game 3 matchup, we see one flyer standing in the way for Roundfin. We see a draw of Execute. Gonna go ahead and take out that troop, and Roundfin will go ahead and secure his 2-1 victory over Funny Fat Guy. After his victory, Roundfin will advance to the semis to face the winner of VB Player playing Yarna of Lost Voices versus PRG playing as Farico. In our final match here of the quarterfinals, we see PRG playing a Shard, followed by Poppy Pixie. That's going to transform that crafty scrap shot into a Merry Squirrel. Here comes the damage. Block here is going to send both VB players' troops into the crypt, followed by another crafty scrap shot. VB player trying to find an answer, doesn't. That's going to do it, and PRG will take game number 1. In game number 2 of this matchup, PRG with a treat machine. Gonna go ahead and sacrifice that, draw a card, gain 2 charges, gain 3 health, only 1 charge away from activating champion power. Swing comes in, we see the blocks, damage is assessed. VB player trying to find a resource for Cull the Weak, instead finds Maggot Swarm. We'll go ahead and put that onto the field, trying to desperately stay alive here. Back over to PRG, looking for a resource, finds one. In that Wild Ice, will get the charge for the charge power. Here comes a Sparkle Cap. Activation of Champion Power is going to give +2/+2 to all the troops, and that's going to do it. PRG will go 2-0 over VB Player. With that victory, PRG will join the other 3 competitors in the semis, and our next match is Something Stupid versus Jadeem Jedi. We join the action here with JJ at 1 health. Runic Strike going to be activated thanks to a resource off the top. Blocks are going to be assessed. JJ clinging on to dear life here at the onslaught of these Candlekin. He definitely wants to see if he can find a resource off the top to get that Eternal Seeker online, and he does. Here comes the resource. Eternal Seeker is going to come down and void those monster Candlekin, as that threat is now removed. A swing for 8 is going to take Something Stupid down to 7. What a turn of events for JJ. We see Borean Leopard for Something Stupid, followed by a Shard. JJ here has an opportunity to win next turn, and we see a resource, so a champion power activation seals the deal with a flight victory here, as JJ comes from behind to take game number 1 against Something Stupid. We join game 2 action here. JJ at 3 health, but we see Primordial Growl come down. That's going to lock down those 2/6/6 Candlekin for a couple of turns. Swing in the air, and this is going to take down Something Stupid to 19 health. He draws, find a Ruby Shard. Not what he's looking for here. It's going to have to pass the turn back over to JJ. He finds a resource into a Iron Maw. Remember, Iron Maw will allow him to battle Ruby, Diamond, or Sapphire troops. Finds that Candlelit Zealot. That Death Cry, though, going to make those Candlekins now 7/7. Rune Snatcher, followed by a swing in the air. This is going to take Something Stupid down to 10 health. Now the swing from Something Stupid, forced to block those 7/7 candles. Going to take a point of damage. Not worried about a combat trick here from Something Stupid. JJ now at 2 health. Finds a resource. That's going to do it. Give him the charge and create that butterfly. And more than enough damage here. JJ is going to take down Something Stupid 2-0. With that victory, JJ will move to the finals to face the winner of our next match, Roundfin versus PRG. As we join game 1 action between Roundfin and PRG, Roundfin with a formidable board and 3 Daybreaks, followed by 34 health. We see 2 Valors on Mordrum and a swing here with that Dawnstein. That's going to deal 4 damage to PRG, taking PRG down to 3. Needs to find an answer off the top. That's not going to do it, and Roundfin will take game number 1. In our second game here between Roundfin and PRG, PRG will play a crafty scrap shot, but against a very formidable board here that also includes 4 Daybreaks for Roundfin. So at the start of his turn, he's going to gain 4 health, and his draw, we see his second Frostlock. That's going to do it, and Roundfin will take down PRG 2-0. With that victory, Roundfin will secure a spot in the finals against Jadeem Jedi. Let's go ahead and get into game 1 action. Game 1 action of the finals. We see a Shard of Retribution for Roundfin. That'll get him a diamond threshold. He'll pass the turn over to JJ. Wild Ice will come down. He'll be able to Fate Weave for either a random resource or random non-resource. Place at the top of his deck. Shard of Retribution for Roundfin. We see a Brittle Borean Leopard for him. As the turn passes to JJ, he'll play out a Sapphire Shard. Here comes an Eldritch Thunderbird, so possible blocker here to that Borean Leopard. Turn passes back to Roundfin, finds a Diamond Shard. Here comes a swing, block with the Thunderbird, so they'll both trade and go to the Crypt. Here comes a Diamond Shard. Activation of Champion Power will get that Daybreak into a Daybreak Diviner, as his turn will pass over to JJ. Nightfall created as a result of that Diviner. Here comes a Zorzum Silk Shot. Turn passes back to Roundfin, finds Balance the Scales off the top. Nightfall, so Daybreak and Nightfall for Roundfin, followed by that Shard of Retribution. Gonna go for that Double Blood Threshold so he can get that Thought Collector out. As the turn passes back to JJ, here comes a Wild Shard, now at 4 resources, and a swing. Here comes that Silk Shot, block with a Daybreak Diviner, they'll trade. And remains as a Thought Collector. Blight Blossom comes down, as well as a Razor Shield, Rabid Razor Shield for JJ. Going to take a point of damage at start of Roundfin's turn thanks to that Nightfall, and Roundfin will gain a point of health. Dawnsteed will finish his turn as we go over to JJ. He'll play a Wild Resource out, now at 5. Here comes Party Fungi, the life of the party, and Activation of Champion Power. We see a 7/7 Butterfly. That's going to swing in. Thought Collector is going to step in the way. And we'll see a Sapphire Shard off the top go over to Roundfin, and Heart's Whispers will draw a couple cards for JJ. So interesting turn of events here. At the start of Roundfin's turn, we see Daybreak and Nightfall doing their work and balance the scales. Here comes that Thought Collector back for a second time. It is now a 4/3, so 3/3 and 4/3 flyer for Roundfin. As we go back to JJ, here comes a Shard. And let's see here, combat phase, we just see the Razor Shield coming in. Dawnsteed's going to step in the way. They're going to trade. Thought Collector remaining for Roundfin. Here comes Hogarth, though, and JJ hoping to connect against Roundfin with that Hogarth. We'll see if it happens. Blood Shard for Roundfin. We see Activation of Champion Power for Daybreak. Here comes Frostlock and be able to void 2 cards. However, Hogarth has Spell Shield, so cannot be targeted by Frostlock as we go back over to JJ. JJ is going to swing here for 5. Thought Collector has to step in the way, but we see Hide and Seek on that Frostlock instead of the Thought Collector. So we see a Blight Blossoms and Party Fungi come back for JJ as Thought Collector finds a Wild Ice off the top of JJ's deck. We see for Roundfin, his draw, Light of Day, again, cannot target Hogarth, so no answer here. JJ is going to be able to connect with this as we go to the start of his turn. Iron Maw will come down, no target there. But we do see a full swing with the rest of the troops. 7 damage inbound. More importantly, though, JJ is going to turn into Hogarth, master of the arena, and all the cards in JJ's hand and deck will also transform into that deck. As you can see, all of JJ's cards in his deck now going to the void, and the cards in his hand as well. And he will get a new deck from Hogarth, master of the arena. Is going to draw some cards, and he's got some good ones here as he plays out a resource. And we see a Brittle Woolly Moa for JJ. As the turn passes back over to Roundfin, Daybreak, Nightfall doing their work, gaining 2 health, dealing a point of damage to JJ. Balance the scales. We see Thought Collector come back. This is going to be for a 3rd time now on the field as a 7/6 flyer. JJ will draw and play a resource. Looks like that Permafrost Colossus coming down for JJ, and a Brittle Woolly Moa will allow JJ to Fate Weave. As the turn gets back over to Roundfin, JJ getting wider. We see a Borean Leopard. Light of Day here is going to target that Colossus. It will void. And we see a swing for 7. This is going to take JJ down to 10. As the turn passes back over to him, finds a shard. We'll be able to activate that charge power. Let's see what he finds. As a result, oh my gosh, it's Crispin, which is going to give JJ another turn. And we see the Primordial Grout come down as well. That's going to lock down that Thought Collector. Here's going to come the swing with everything else. Huge damage. He's going to go down to 11. And the start of JJ's next turn, that's it. He's going to do it and take game number 1. As we get into game 2 action here, we see a Diamond Shard for Roundfin. Turn passes back over to JJ. Going to go ahead and play a Sapphire Ice. Will allow him to Fate Weave. Back to Roundfin, finds a Diamond Shard. We'll play that out. And we see a Brittle Borean Leopard, so a mirror of game one between these two players for Roundfin. And we go back to JJ. He's going to Fate Weave with that Wild Ice. Be able to either choose a random resource or random non-resource, put it at the top of his deck. Dawnsteed, the draw for Roundfin. We'll go ahead and play out a resource. Champion Power will get him to Daybreak. We see a Dawnsteed here for him as swing in for 3 is going to take JJ down to 20. And over to JJ, we'll play that Sapphire Shard. Here comes a Poppy Pixie, going to transform itself into a Merry Squirrel, so we'll have at least a 6/6 on the field for a turn. As the turn passes back to Roundfin, we'll play a Diamond Shard. Here comes another Brittle or Borean Leopard, as the swing for 3 here is going to take JJ down to 17. Roundfin taking the lead here with health. That Daybreak definitely helping out here as we see a Rune Snatcher come down for JJ. Transformation to create a butterfly to stop some of that flight damage from Roundfin. As the turn passes back over to him, Blood Shard will come down. We don't see a swing. Looks like Roundfin's just going to pass back over to JJ. We see Heart's Whisper, going to Fate Weave and draw 2 cards. Sapphire Shard will come down for JJ. He'll go ahead and pass back to Roundfin. Daybreak going ahead and give him up to 20 health. He'll play a resource out. We see Champion Power, second Daybreak. So going to be gaining 2 a turn and Execute. It's going to take care of that Rune Snatcher. And looks like we're going to see a full swing. We do. JJ is going to go ahead and block. And then we see Evaporate going to take care of that Borean Leopard. So JJ preventing some of that damage. Does take 3, goes down to 14. Turn passes back to him. We are at 6 now. And we see Hogarth come down. We saw the damage that JJ was able to do with Hogarth last game. Will he be able to replicate that here? And we see a Mordrum come down. That's going to bring back that Brittle Borean Leopard as an invincible troop. And another Brittle Borean Leopard will join that. 3 damage in. JJ down to 11. Interesting stuff here as an Iron Maw will come down. That's going to battle. That's going to take care of that flight troop. So no damage going to be handled in the air from Roundfin as Guidance is off the top. Going to go ahead and find a resource. We'll play that out. And looks like a Violet's Attendant with Fate Weave and a zombie that Fate Weave. So double Fate Weave there for Roundfin. Turn passes back to JJ. Going to go ahead and play a Rune of Hatching to create a Hailhawk. And it looks like removal there with Battle of Destiny is going to take care of Mordrum and that Borean Leopard. Turn for Roundfin. Looks like balance the scales. We're going to see that Mordrum come back and now bring the Dawnsteed. So Dawnsteed back on the side for Roundfin. Over to JJ. Finds a resource off the top. That means that Hailhawk is going to come down as a result of that. An Eternal Seeker. Whoa, brutal here as it's going to go ahead and remove all troops at cost 2. And JJ here going to pass the turn. We see Runic Decay for Roundfin off the top. Passes it back to JJ. Wild Shard will come down. JJ is going to do Hide and Seek. So Mordrum's going to go back, which means that Dawnsteed will go as well. The air is open. JJ going to swing in. That plus Hogarth has to block the Hogarth with Violet's Attendant. Runic Decay, though, here going to take out one of the Hailhawks. So loses the Violent Attendant. Takes some damage here, but prevents JJ from turning into Hogarth. As we go back to Roundfin, we see Runic Decay come back as a result of the shard off the top. He'll go ahead and play that out. Balance the scales. What is he going to bring back? Looks like that Violence Attendant's going to go for a 6/6 Fate Weave troop, which is going to create that zombie, which will also Fate Weave. As we go back to JJ at 11, Roundfin at 27, Shard comes down, but JJ has the troop in the air, so a big swing here. It's going to take Roundfin down to 22, and we see that Razor Shield for JJ end his turn. Daybreak going to be gaining 2 points a turn. Here comes that Violet's Attendant in. JJ now down to 5 health, and his draw is going to be a Sapphire Shard. Full swing in here. JJ looks like we see Blight Bestowed, so it looks like Hogarth not meant for this world. But Roundfin's going to take 8 damage here, go down to 16, as JJ will play out his last card in hand. Turn passes back to Roundfin, gains 2 health with that Daybreak, finds a resource off the top. Now a third Daybreak, 6 damage inbound from that Attendant. Razor Shield's going to go ahead and step in front and block as we go back to JJ. Eternal Seeker and the Iron Maw swinging in. Roundfin down to 10. We see Zorzum Silk Shot for JJ. Roundfin finds a Daybreak Divider off the top, followed by a Hilltop Monastery. That's a good card for Roundfin as the turn passes back to JJ. We'll draw, swing in with that Eternal Seeker. We see a Hilltop Monastery get a couple counters on it. Swing for 5. That's going to take Roundfin down to 8. Chaos Tongue will join the rest of JJ's troops on the field. Roundfin gaining 3 health here. Light of Day going to take care of that Flight Troop. JJ now at 5. Roundfin at 11, gaining 3 a turn. And we see Go Nuts for JJ off the top. Here comes the swing. Go Nuts is going to be targeting Mary Squirrel. Now is going to block that Violet's Attendant, so an even trade there. Daybreak Diviner and Silkshot are going to trade. Zombie is going to be created as a result, as well as Blight Blossom. But here comes a Frost Rock for JJ, and we see activation of the Hilltop Monastery to try to get to those 5 counters. Dawn Seed's going to come down. This is invincible, so not going to be able to do any damage to this. And we see Primordial Grout come down. That's going to stun both of his troops, and JJ is going to be able to swing in here for 5. Roundfin goes to 9, and now we go to Roundfin, going to gain 4 from Daybreak, finds a Borean Leopard. That will come down. But if you take a look at the board, JJ does have his champion power. He'll be able to use it next turn. He's clear in the air, finds a shard off the top. Champion power will create that butterfly, and the full swing here, that's going to do it. JJ is going to knock out Roundfin 2-0 to win this Hex Clash. With his victory here, 2-0 over Roundfin, Jadeem Jedi, aka JJ, will take down this Hex Clash and win $500, the Frostlock Battle Board sleeve and card, as well as the Into the Unknown sleeve and card. JJ now adding to his illustrious tournament finishes, now with a first place finish in the Hex Clash on 20 August 2017. If you want to compete in the next Hex Clash, you can do so on the 27th of August at 8 a.m. Pacific. Remember, it is a weekly tournament. More information in the description below, and good luck everybody in the Clash.